death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from.
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle, the ASIS strike.
We have done their work, they have put us to the wall. We are not the slaves. I'm not a small boy. You should have given me the report. I have not seen the report.
Hello and thank you for joining us here on Global Morning. I'm Muyi Agumofwe. Welcoming you to Global Television as our first program live for the matter for the day. We are Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Let's talk about several issues around our nation, across this country. Many of them very disturbing. There are those very inspiring as well. As a matter of fact, there are developments pointing you to what plans the government has for Nigerians in whatever area it is, and the efforts being made to actualize those plans. The week so far, I mean, just the middle of it, has also been very eventful with highlights of conversations around very salient developments, including security or insecurity across this country. But Abuja has been the highlight for that particular conversation for obvious reasons. I mean, we've seen the spate of kidnappings, killings, attacks of all kinds across the nation's center in the last couple of weeks, and it has agitated the minds of every human being, especially all of those who are aware of these developments. More so those who are, excuse me, resident here in Abuja. The sisters who had been kidnapped, one of whom had also been, who had to pay the price. All of that incident has remained fresh in the minds of people, and it is now a basis, very strong one at that, for driving the narrative around the need to do more with regards to securing lives and property, not just in Abuja, but across this country. I mean, you need to see what happens in villages in the southeast, all right, communities across the south-south, and then you move up southwest, for example, you hear some very gory tales of attacks. How marauders and their ilk are going about the place, taking lives at will, destroying farm produce, and becoming a threat to people who are otherwise, who have otherwise lived a peaceful and very quiet life. But the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, himself, former governor, spent 8 years, all right, governing River States, has first-hand experience what it is to be challenged by insecurity. I just stirred the hornet's nest yesterday with the video that had gone viral where he was reportedly saying that, there's so much of hula baloo around insecurity. It's not as bad as people try to make it. The first point he established is that by his own assessment, it is politicians who are making a lot of noise out of this. So one incident happens somewhere, an isolated incident, and then you find a bunch of politicians trying to create a replication of it somehow, all right, some sort of psychological game, mind game of some kind, in such a way that they make it look as if it has happened in 25 places. And he says, look, these are people who are paid to blackmail government, to make the government look like it's not doing anything. And then he stretches it further to talk about even Nigerians, talk about FCC residents in particular, saying they don't appreciate what the government is doing. All they just do is wake up every morning. I mean, this may paraphrasing, but essentially this is the point he was making, that they just see all of the wrong things that the government hasn't done or is doing. They're not looking at the areas where government has made efforts. They're not looking at some specific initiatives that government has rolled out, how government is changing the story for the better, the investment being made in certain areas. For instance, he cited an example where he said when he came in 5 months ago, people told him street lights are not working in Abuja, the roads are bad, and so on and so forth. But the efforts are being made to fix all of those problems, and nobody's coming out to commend the authorities, to commend the government, whether within the FCT or at the federal level, for the efforts being made. Now, we understand that video has been deleted. But then, of course, as I say, social media may forgive, but never forgets. So a part of the clip had already gone viral. People had it saved somewhere, whatever. And the point now is there have been very nasty reactions to that comment credited to Mr. Nyesom Wike, all right, because people consider it insensitive. People believe this is not the time to politic around an issue of life and death. I mean, people have been thrown out of a moving vehicle in the name of the so-called one chance attacks that lately became very rampant in Abuja. All right, we know of a lady who lost her life, a very promising lady who lost her life in such an incident. We have a colleague in-house, for example, who escaped death by the whiskers. These are real life stories. These are people we know. So when someone, whether a minister or the president or a governor, comes out and says certain things that insult the sensibilities of Nigerians, of members of the public, particularly those who have been impacted adversely one way or another on account of these attacks, it just shows that government needs to do better. Government needs to put on its thinking cap. Because it's not every time it is about party A versus party B. It's not every time it is about you and your opponents or your perceived political foes. There are times it's just about humanity. It's just about human beings. It's just about life and death. It's just about the need for government to continually remind itself that it fundamentally has a responsibility to protect lives and property of Nigerians. After all, that's the oath public officials take, whether they are elected or appointed, as they go into office, to say, look, we're going to serve in the interest of those we're here to provide leadership for. But when a minister in the capacity, caliber of someone like Nyesom Wike pushes narratives around how that is politicians paying certain people to blackmail government, it doesn't always have to be about politicians and governments. Life does not revolve around politicians and governments. There are Nigerians this morning, this is Wednesday, is a weekday, who are just going about their legitimate, lawful business. They are not in politics, they are not partisan. They just want to live their peaceful life. They want to pay their taxes, they want to do their businesses, they want to take care of their families. They want to be able to leave the house in one piece and return home at the end of business in one piece. So for people like that, when you make a statement like this, it cuts like a hot knife through butter into their heart, because you're trying to make a mess of the experiences that they've been through. You are trying to invalidate, all right, inadvertently, the experiences, the nasty experiences they've had in the hands of these daredevil criminals, all right? But again, we thought we should establish that. However, the conversation this morning is focused on some of the immediate and remote causes of insecurity, because they say there's no smoke without fire. How this has spiraled over time and has become a burgeoning problem, and more importantly, what should be done exactly, who should be taking responsibility. We've seen a military man come out recently to make very weighty allegations. Now, who is taking a sincere, holistic look at those allegations? Who is being held accountable? Who is being brought to book on account of these allegations? As people would always say, government knows those who are behind all of these things, but is government coming to the table with sincerity of purpose, as we know it, is an important thing. But we also want to look at the perspective to all of this. Illegal mining, which has become very concerning in the last couple of years. We've seen the current minister of that ministry, talking about mineral resources, Dr. Dele Alake, recently railing against illegal mining, issues around licensing, how people are even in this country, non-nationals, and here they are mining, they are exploring, they are doing all sorts, some of them even going to the extent of encouraging banditry in some parts of this country. It's a conversation we want to have, but first, let's remind you that what is in your belly, for some people, is what determines what goes into your head. Let's talk about food on taste and texture.
Hello and welcome to another episode on Taste and Texture. I'm Fatimi Abba Umar. Oats is a type of cereal grain from the Poaceae grass family of plants. The grain refers specially to the edible seed of oats grass, which is what ends up in our breakfast bowls. Oatmeal is a preparation of oats that have been dehusked, steamed, and flattened, or coarse flour of hulled oats grain that have either been milled, rolled, or steel cut. Ground oats are also called white oats. Steel cut oats are known as coarse meal Irish oatmeal or pinhead oats. And now, let's make it. 1. Bring 1 cup of water or non-fat or low-fat milk and a pinch of salt if desired to a boil in a small saucepan. 2. Stir in 1.5 cup of oats and reduce heat to medium. Cook stirring occasionally for 5 minutes. Then remove from heat, cover and let stand for 2 to 3 minutes. Topping oatmeal with your favorite fruit boosts the fiber. Adding unsalted nuts offers healthy fats and makes your breakfast more filling. Some fruits which can be used as toppings are dried fruits such as raisins, cranberries, cherry, or chopped apricots or dates. Fresh or frozen berries, nuts or seeds, almonds, pecan, walnuts, hazelnuts, pistachios, peanuts, or peanut butter. Sesame seeds, groundnut flakes, or chia seeds, sweetness, maple syrup, brown sugar, and honey. Also, you could sprinkle a hint of your favorite spice to boost the flavor and aroma of your oatmeal. Plus, spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger can give you an antioxidant boost. Cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, cardamom, dairy and dairy alternatives. Add more calcium by topping your oatmeal with a little bit of yogurt, milk, or plant-based calcium fortified milk. Oatmeal is a whole grain that will help keep your sugar more level and will keep you feeling fuller longer compared to cereal made with refined white flour. Add mix-ins to increase the flavor and nutrition levels. No matter what mix-in or cooking method you use, a bowl of oatmeal in the morning is a stick to your ribs way to kick-start your day. And now to the health benefits. Oats are among the healthiest grains on earth. They are gluten-free, whole grain, and great source of important vitamins, minerals, fibers, and antioxidants. Oats are rich in carbs and fiber, but also higher in protein and fat than most other grains. They contain many vitamins and minerals. Oats are incredibly nutritious. The nutrient composition of oats is well balanced. They are a good source of carbs and fiber. Whole oats are rich in antioxidants, while oats are high in antioxidants. Most notable is a unique group of antioxidants called avenetramins, trusted source which are almost solely found in oats. Research has found that avenetramins may help lower blood pressure levels by increasing the production of nitric oxide gas. This gas molecule helps dilate, widen blood vessels, which may lead to better blood flow. In addition, avenetramins, trusted sources, have anti-inflammatory and anti-itching effects. Oats can lower cholesterol. Heart diseases is leading cause of death globally. One major risk factor is high blood cholesterol. Many studies have shown that the beta-glucan fiber in oats is effective at reducing both total and LDL bad cholesterol level. Beta-glucan may increase the release of cholesterol-rich bile, which reduces the circulating levels of cholesterol in your blood. Oats may also protect LDL bad cholesterol from oxidation. Oxidation of LDL bad cholesterol occurs when it reacts with free radicals. This is another crucial step in the progression of heart disease. LDL cholesterol produces inflammation in arteries, damages tissues, and can raise the risk of attacks and strokes. So that's all for now. I hope you will have a great oatmeal.
Thank you, Fatima, there, for just giving us some breakfast today, and that makes quite a lot of sense. So I was just talking a while ago about the insecurity situation in the country, but of course, because they say charity begins at home, most Abuja residents, I mean those in the Federal Capital Territory, are naturally more concerned or immediately concerned about the territory than they are in some other far-flung stories of insecurity. But again, it's interesting how that the New Telegraph is now reporting that the largest illegal mining site has been discovered in Benue State. And you're wondering, how do these mining sites, these particular ones that are termed illegal, even come up in the first instance? At what point did they become illegal? Were they ever legal at any point? And who is supposed to be monitoring? Who is supposed to be checking? Who is supposed to be doing due diligence around all of these issues? I'll give you an example. We had the Bodija incident in Ibadan, your state capital, the other time. I mean, just a matter of days ago, the blast that were told destroyed as many as 20 houses took quite a number of lives, and there we have people injured and those whose lives have been shattered one way or another on account of the fact that they either have lost their loved ones or they've lost some other things of significant worth and things like that. Let's not even, on top of all of this, mention the trauma that naturally comes with this kind of very unfortunate incident. But the governor of the state, Seyi Makinde, did say that, I mean, while trying to look at issues around this incident, it was discovered that there were irregularities in the registration processes, that is, the business registration processes, that even led to the existence of this or the establishment of these companies in the first instance. And he said that quite a number of names in those records were foreign names. Again, it points to how that we have fast become very reactive country, reactive society, right? Something would have gone wrong before we even realized that there was something we missed. There was something we ought to have done in the first instance, right? Somebody made a point just in the course of this ongoing week, said, look, it is good that we're now seeing some sort of remarkably massive deployment of security agents, especially police across the FCT, you know, point-to-point, end-to-end kind of strategy. Excellent, remarkable, commendable. However, the challenge is, by the time we are able to cut down or eradicate this current space of kidnappings and killings, I mean, ransom payments that we have come to see in very recent times in the FCT, what happens going forward? Will those policemen still report back there? Will those points still be manned by security agencies? What are the problems we should be dealing with beyond just this knee-jerk approach, all right, to fighting insecurity? All right, the security agencies themselves, are they well equipped? Do they have the required critical resources? All right, mission critical infrastructure, I mean, tools that they need to do their job? Or is it like when something happens, that's when we realize that we ought to have done this for them, we ought to have done that for them? Are we thinking the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years of securing this country? At least starting from the FCT, because that's the concern people have. So when someone like the minister of the FCT comes out and makes certain statements, he seems to be saying to the people, the residents of this city, that he doesn't understand the role, all right, that the job description is not so clear, because he is the governor of the FCT. Therefore, so much is expected of him, and it's clear to whom much is given, much is expected, right? Not everybody can be FCT minister, so there can only be one FCT minister at a time. And there's a lot of work on his shoulder. Therefore, it's not a platform to politique and talk about politicians paying people to blackmail government. The fact of the matter is government sincere about the efforts it's making? Has government been proactive? Has it not been the case that Nigerians have continually seen government being reactive instead of being pragmatic about finding solutions to these problems? It's time we talk about business a little. Let's now join Kikaloma Okere as she brings us a roundup of business.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu addressing 19th Kampala Non-Aligned Summit chaired by Uganda President Museveni emphasized the imperative of equitable capital access for development. Tinubu underscores that the 130 member countries, representing over 55% of global population, have a combined budgetary resources of less than $3.5 trillion, a figure drafted by the United States budget alone. This is according to the press statement issued by Folashade Buriowu, Director of Information, Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. Tinubu noted that the aggregate public debt totaling less than $6.6 trillion is approximately 1/6 of that of a few developed countries. These figures highlight the glaring challenges of insufficient capital hindering the development of non-aligned countries, urging for equal opportunities. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery is set to provide fuel to approximately 150,000 retail outlets operated by Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria (IPMAN), following a successful meeting between the refinery management and IPMAN executives. Regulatory assessments of the refined product are on the way before the final approval for the fuel dispensing. Major oil marketers include 11 plc, Con Oil plc, Adova plc, Mrs. Oil Nigeria plc, OVH Energy Marketing Limited, Total Nigeria plc, and NNPC Retail are registered for product distribution from the $20 billion Dangote plant. The Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owner Association of Nigeria is also engaging with the refinery for product supply. In a related development, Dangote Cement plc share gained 9.99% to close with a share price of 592.60 naira, thus reaching a market cap of 10 trillion naira, becoming the first Nigeria company to hit the historic milestone. In 2024, Dangote Cement has recorded a remarkable performance in the equities market, with a year-to-date return of 85.2%, moving from a share price of 319.9 naira at the start of 2024 to 592.6 naira at the close of trading. The company has also recorded capital gain of 4.644 trillion naira as its share price appreciated from 5.451 trillion naira at the start of 2024 to 10.095 trillion naira as of 22nd of January 2024. Kike Lomo Ukeri, Global Television News.
Thank you, Kike Lomo, for giving us a snapshot of business so far, just midweek. So we will stay with Kike Lomo for more business every other day through Friday. Speaking of Dangote Refinery, we understand that it's now in talks with several of key stakeholders in the industry just to find some strategic partnerships in such a way that it can scale and then be able to ease the problem of petrol products in terms of access or availability of the commodity, and then pricing as a very core element as well. But still staying with the O&G sector, there are now vehement calls for governments to not just prioritize the refineries. I mean, all four of them that we have in this country, that they should be sold outright, because there are experts, industry players who believe that those refineries as they are today are more of liability for government than they are a blessing or an asset, as we say, in business. They've advanced several reasons why that should be done. In fact, there are people who are even worried that for refineries that produce next to nothing, government has continually spent a lot of billions, all right, by way of turnaround maintenance every other time. And then you have people who still work in those refineries who get paid every other month. I mean, overhead here, overhead there. And they say on the basis of this, their argument is government should ultimately sell off those refineries. But what happens going forward when those refineries are in private hands? What does it do for Nigeria? What model would that be? How many other countries across the world where you have crude actually having their refineries in the hands of private players? All right, these are all elements we have to look at. But the oil industry itself has been more than dramatic, because for a country like Nigeria that largely relies on monies from sales of crude oil at the international markets to get to fix problems back at home, to get to fund budget for the most part, it is a very, very critical conversation. We have the Global AM News up ahead for you, but we're taking a quick break now so we can join John Ganamel Joseph to bring you some entertainment stories.
Rema is one of the stars leading the exploitation of Nigerian music through his music, which has gained commercial success globally. In another move to connect with international listeners, Rema is set to appear on the new King album of American pop star Jason Derulo. The Afrobeat star will join other superstars including Nicki Minaj, T.Y. Dollars, French Montana Quavo, Adam Levine, and EDM legend David Guetta, among other artists on Jason Derulo's upcoming album. Rema and Jason Derulo previously appeared together on Ayo Girl remix by Belgian music producer Robinson. Jason Derulo has also previously collaborated with Rema's label mate Biani on the remix of his hit single Ta Ta Ta. For Rema, this is another proof of his growing popularity in the United States, where he has enjoyed commercial success courtesy of his smash hit single Calm Down with Selena Gomez. Rema's last collaboration with an American is Pretty Girl with fast-rising rapper Ice Spice. Nigerian sensation Ruger has made a name for himself for his blend of dancehall and Afrobeats, with which he continues to captivate listeners around the globe. In a new development, confirmed by a source in Johnson World, the dancehall star has parted ways with the Johnson World label, under which he has been signed since 2019. Ruger was unveiled in 2020 by Johnson World as its first flagship, and the talented dancehall act broke into the mainstream in the same year through his debut EP, Pandemic, which had hits like Ruger, Bounce, and Abu Dhabi. After breaking into the mainstream, Ruger rose to commercial success with his sophomore EP, Second Wave, which delivered his single like Dior and Fine Girl. In 2023, Ruger released his debut album, Rule the World, under Johnson World, and the album has hit songs such as Ashiwaju, Johnson Boy, and Bon Bon. Ruger has now parted ways with Johnson Boy after 4 years with the label, as he proceeds to set up his own label, Blown Boy Entertainment, which he recently tagged on a lifestyle video he shared on his Instagram story. Chunk and Amel Joseph reporting for Global TV News.